The Puma MagMax Nitro at 200 plus miles. Pretty significant milestone for this type of shoe, right? So let's discuss. With the current state of the shoe's visual appearances, is it time to hang this thing up, or do we still have a lot of life to go? Let's talk about it. So before we get into the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed to watching content, thanks so much. Love you guys a lot. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Strava for all sorts of other running updates and things like that. As we do race tomorrow, and we've got some results to potentially share with that as we get to that point. So without further ado, let's begin. Specs for the shoe, somewhere where you can see them. And first things first, let's go assess the outsoles of these shoes. Let's keep in mind that currently, with the way I've been operating with this particular pair of shoes, it's about 95% road miles and about 5% treadmill. Treadmill being mostly easy miles across the shoe, any sort of 2-a-day sort of work, but for the most part, this thing's going outside and just pounding pavement for Chicago Marathon training. So as I'm looking at it, and as you probably just saw, there's a couple of thoughts, right? Number one, of course, is that I was operating under the presumption that this outsole was going to get a lot more beat up than I originally anticipated, because you guys told me that the outsole of the shoe is not going to be as resilient. And I guess I was always skeptical about that because it's a max stack shoe, right? The purpose here is to be as resilient as possible as a shoe, but also as resilient for you know, for your joints, for your muscles. The point of the shoe is to be as strong as possible to prevent the damages of running on, you know, man-made surfaces. So that being said, the rubber stack of the shoe is actually in really great shape, especially for my weird running form. And that being said, again, 200 plus miles, I was expecting a little bit more wear based on like shoes I've seen between, you know, 22 and 24. I would say this is still in really great shape, all things considered, right? The rubber is reinforcing this, you know, Nitro Max foam stack that we have on the shoe. The only real wear is like on the outside areas of the rubber, which again is expected on this anterior side. This is just kind of polished out, but it's not like cracked or breaking in any sort of weird way. Maybe there's a little bit of foam exposure on the very end of the shoe, but that's sort of expected when you're running and the shoe's kind of striking. The foam is meant to go into the ground and expand a little bit for that rebound push, right? This is just general physics with a shoe with no carbon plate, right? So this is just expected in this particular case. So just that little wear on the Nitro is nothing bad, and it's about the same in the left foot. It's just that little wear on the outer end of the shoe. And then again, as I've discussed in a previous video for this shoe, which I guess you guys kind of quickly corrected me on, this creasing of the foam is expected, and that's what I was expecting for the shoe in this particular area on both sides. The one thing that I was bringing up was that this creasing might be showing multiple signs of fatigue for the shoe, and I would be expecting this foam to start breaking down much quicker than anticipated, right? But alas, right, this is expected area for the shoe to be creasing, and the shoe is designed to be resilient towards this fatigue, right? Because if this creasing wasn't occurring, the shoe would probably not be comfortable. It'd be probably a brick, and maybe that creasing would be occurring somewhere else more critical to the shoe. Whereas here, the creasing allows, I would say, for more flexibility for your current running form, right? And that being said, I'm happy that it's consistent across both areas of the shoe, in terms of like the inside and the outside on both pairs. So just showing that the running form is fairly consistent across both, in my case. And that being said, it doesn't feel like there's any sort of major issues with the way it looks versus how my running form is responding to it. So I would say this is nothing to worry about at 200 miles. If you have creasing elsewhere, I guess it's kind of area dependent, right? Like, are you a heel striker? Maybe you have more creasing in the heel. Are you more forefoot? Then maybe you have more creasing going on in that forefoot area and less in this midfoot area. hard to say, right? The only thing that is a con, which is more of a visual con for this creasing, is that the decals here are sort of falling off and falling apart. You can see just roughly that I've got a piece that's already coming off because that creasing and that expansion and that, you know, a rebounding effect has caused this thing to fatigue and just crack off the foam, especially if it's connected. Like this one's just off. As I keep playing around with it, I could probably rip it off. Don't need to do that, but just be aware that this Puma decal is seen better days, I suppose. In terms of running performance, the shoe is still exactly where I need it to be, right? It's not a shoe meant for those speedy workouts, right? This is the sort of shoe I use on my recovery days, my easy days, my group run days where the pace is not meant to be any faster than like 8 minutes or maximum 7:30 if someone in the group's got a carbon plate and wants to sort of flex on the group. Then this is kind of where that shoe is expected to be, right? And I guess at that point, I don't know if I have anything else crazy I need to unveil or discuss with the shoe. It's been comfortable. I think, again, the cons that I've mentioned before with, like, the visual appearance of the foam and, like, water absorption from both sweat and, like, rain and watery elements sort of weigh the shoe down because it's not that breathable. Like, nothing there has necessarily changed, right? The performance is still fine at 200 plus miles. I have no reason to retire this thing despite adding a new Max Stack foam shoe to my lineup, which we'll discuss in a future video or has been already discussed. Depends when I time the release of this particular review. But I would say MagMax, 200 plus miles, still good to go. It's a Max Stack shoe that's living up to the hype, and again, Puma is holding it together, I think, as a running brand right now, and has been with this like DV8 Nitro series and bringing in this MagMax. I think there's a lot of good things going on here, and it's been a good shoe to follow. If anything, I think this particular shoe just needs to get thrown into the wash. As you can see, it's quite dirty. White shoes tend to get dirty fairly quickly, so we're going to go clean that up and we'll get it done. So if you have any other questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, or any other shoes you think I should check out that are similar to the MagMax, let me know in the comments below. We'll throw them into my review bundle and we'll get it done, you know? So I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.